and I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. We've got a great show tonight. Before we start, if you know anything about me, you know that I take my health very seriously. And one of the ways I stay healthy is because I take Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. They have an amazing story of how this product was developed by Dr. Douglas Howard. You can read it yourself on their website. Balance of Nature receives over 1,000 success stories every single month. They have hundreds of thousands of customers who have purchased billions of capsules of their fruits and veggies over the past 20 years. You should check it all out on their website. Their products are gluten-free and non-GMO, and they contain no added sugars or synthetics. If you're looking for something to make you feel better naturally, you should definitely give Balance of Nature a try. In fact, you can order today. Whether you order online or call them direct, you can use the promo code LARA, L-A-R-A, to get this special offer of 35% off. Plus, $10 off any additional sets and free shipping, plus their money-back guarantee. Call them at 800-246-8751 and use discount code LARA, or order online at balanceofnature.com and use discount code LARA to get 35% off. Tonight, we're honored because we are joined by legendary musician. I don't even know if you need an introduction, Lee Greenwood. Lee, thank you so much for joining us. You're kind of like the soundtrack to America. I feel like when people think of you, they think of patriotism. They think of all those incredible things. I read that you played piano at 7 years old and piano at 12. So it really sounds like you knew that music was going to be in your future. I feel like I'm behind already in starting my kids on the piano.
You know, it came instinctively. My father joined the Navy right after the bombing Pearl Harbor, and my mother was a piano player and a comptometer operator for Standard Oil. That was an early computer, and a clerk for Southern Pacific. So as in most cases with military families, it caused their divorce. So I was raised in Sacramento, California on my grandparents' farm. We were sharecroppers. I didn't know my mother or father very well, but we did have a spinet piano in the corner, which my mother played and practiced on. And so I went and just every night I would play. And my grandmother said, you can play, but you got to play with the lights out. And it was twofold. Number one, because electricity was expensive and we weren't very well off. And the second, she knew that if I had to use my ear to make sure that I played notes right, that's ear training. And then I started singing in a Baptist church. I wasn't really applying my musicianship until I was about 12 or 13 when I started working for money. And of course, that's, you get professional, you get better really quick. And about that same time, I started playing saxophone, and clarinet, and flute, and a couple other things. Wow. And throughout my school years, I played pretty much every instrument in the band.
Wow. By the way, I think it's so smart, the one thing I was constantly criticized by my piano teacher for, and I still do it today, Lee, is when I play the piano, I look down at my fingers, and I know I'm not supposed to do that, even if I'm trying to read music. But the fact that you couldn't really do that and you had to just listen for it, I'm sure made you so much better, even faster. And like you said, then you become a professional. Once people start giving you a little cash for it, you're like, I better get good at this. After high school, you left for Reno, Nevada, though, because you started performing at a casino, right?
Well, that's where the money was.
Lara, okay.
Lara, I immediately went to Reno first, and then about 5-6 months later, moved immediately to Las Vegas, where we had our, with my own band called, the Apollos. And we opened at the Stardust Hotel in 1961 and worked a year at the Stardust Hotel as the relief band. And talk about experiences and all the people who came and played those lounges. Oh my gosh, some of the greatest groups on the planet were in the lounges during those days. And so I learned an awful lot. And then I broke up the band and I stayed in Vegas, and I said, guys, I got to learn more about what I do as a musician. And I stayed there. But I stayed a little too long, 20 years, but during that time, I dealt cards in the casinos for 3.5 years at the Tropicana, and just you had to make some money. I mean, but I could work 24 hours a day. It didn't matter. There's plenty of work in those early days.
Right. So whenever you're performing and you kind of have these regular gigs at the casino, is this like a nightly situation? Are you performing every single night?
Pretty much. I can recall the days in 1973 through 1976 that I was dealing in the daytime, 11 to 7, because I asked for the day shift and I had enough juice to get it. And then we would play at night at the Stardust in a rock show called Bear Touch of Vegas. And during that time, we also asked if My Line of Girls would open for Paul Anka at Caesars. So I actually had the triple. I was getting 2 hours sleep a night for like 3.5 weeks. It's like,
My gosh.
It tests your mettle, but you make plenty of money.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, that's called a hustler. That's what we call a hustler. And I love that. I love the hustle. I love that, you just put your head down and you work. And obviously it was very successful for you. You've had several #1 songs and won several awards, but then you come out with God Bless the USA. When did you realize, Lee, this was like a totally different animal? Because it doesn't matter, honestly, how many times I think people listen to that song. It really stirs something deep down inside of people. It is an emotional song. It hits you just right in the right spot. It is a patriotic song. And it really kind of it was a completely different beast.
My motivation, and I get this question an awful lot. The question is, why did you write it? I think it's pretty simple. I'm an American. I'm an American citizen. I'm a musician, and I was able to put my words and my feelings into a song. Now, let's go why. At the particular time I wrote it, it was a time of peace. And in the early days, I used to watch Elvis all the time. This is kind of a sidebar, but it's part of the story. And when I worked in the same hotel with Elvis. I was opening for Bill Medley, who was one of the Righteous Brothers, at the Hilton. The Hilton is now the Westgate in the resort, and I know those people that own it very well. And so Elvis was in the main room, and I would go and watch his show. He had 800 seats. We had 1,500 seats in our lounge, so we had a bigger lounge than Elvis. But of course, he would fill it every single night, and he would do the trilogy. So at the end of his show, have you ever heard Elvis doing the trilogy on film? I mean, it's like he was very reverent, and he started with the Battle Hymn of the Republic and stuff like that. And so I said, I love the reverence feeling of this. It ties the southern part of the United States to the rest of the country, because that's where a lot of the soulful stuff comes from, is the southern. And I live there now. I live in the South. So I said, I'm going to use that as my closer if I ever get my career. Lo and behold, I get my career. In 1979, I moved to Nashville, Tennessee. I start my career. I joined the label with Reba McEntire, who sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl the other day, George Strait, Barbara Mandrell, who and I had a duet album together, Reba McEntire, and then the Oak Ridge Boys. And we all traveled every doghouse, outhouse, and roundhouse in this country for 15 years. So the first 4 albums that I had, which Inside Out, Somebody's Gonna Love You, the Greatest Hits album of 1984, and then God Bless the USA was on the first album called You've Got a Good Love Coming. When we put that song on the album, it wasn't for a single release, Lara. I wanted to be just a tribute to my country. Bury it in the 10 cuts. That's fine. We're going to release the title cut that year in 1985. We filmed a video in the London train station with Patrick Duffy from the cast of Dallas doing a cameo. I had 25 grand of my own money in the videos, and everybody wanted videos at the time. CMT was brand new. And when Universal, it was actually Irving Azoff, who ran Universal and MCA, said, I want that to be the single. And I'm like, well, okay, it's your money, your call. And there you have it. Wow.
It's really amazing. It stands the test of time. It is, like I said, it's a song that I think when people hear it, you can hear it 100 times in a row. And it's powerful every single time. And it obviously it's part of your legacy, Lee. I think when people think of you, they obviously think of that song. I'm going to ask you about patriotism right on the other side of this commercial break. Nobody move. I want to quickly tell you about one of our sponsors, Swiss America. Our country is facing so many problems these days under Joe Biden. The last thing any of us need is more to worry about. Unfortunately, we now have to fear losing our freedom and privacy with the Democrats' new push for a digital dollar that could allow the government to tell us what we can and cannot buy with our hard-earned money. That's why I'm encouraging each and every one of you tuning into the show right now to get The Secret War on Cash, an insightful report created by my friends at Swiss America. With this report, you'll learn how to protect yourself from the threats facing our freedom and your hard-earned money. The report is available right now to my listeners free of charge. Just call 800-289-2646 or visit www.swissamerica.com/Trump for your free report. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all of your continued support. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TRUMP, and you get free shipping on your entire order. Take advantage right now of this sale and get 50% off MyPillow 2.0 or the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. You can also get 6-pack towel sets for $29.98. Take advantage of the free shipping on larger items like mattresses and mattress toppers. All of this made 100% in the USA and on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels and actually absorb dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com and use promo code TRUMP or call 800-624-3945 and get free shipping on your entire order while supplies last. All right, so obviously, God Bless the USA, very patriotic song. It is very soulful. You talked about Elvis. By the way, do you know, Lee, that my father-in-law is also a huge fan of Elvis? And if you ride on the Trump plane, you are often going to see that once the news turns off, you'll see Donald Trump playing YouTube videos of Elvis in his heyday. So probably back in the days when you and Elvis were alongside one another doing performing in different gigs, and although you had the bigger seating, of course. But your patriotism obviously is something that is palpable from God Bless the USA. Where did it come from? Is it and I feel like it's almost a shame I have to ask this, because we live in a time where you have to ask people, where did your sense of patriotism come from?
Well, I'll tell you first that I did not serve in the military. I was 3A in the draft because I had children at a very young age as a teenager. And so had Vietnam lasted longer, I would have been drafted and I would have gladly served. And that's not the reason that I feel more patriotic just because I'm a civilian and never military. There's something inside of me that says, I love my country. Everybody loves their home. Home is a very special place for everybody, not just your house, your community, your state, your country. We have games we play that pit state against state, city against city. That's very healthy. But we love and we have pride in where we live. So my home is the United States of America, and I'm very proud of it. I may be from the West Coast, and now I live in the South, but I've toured this whole country from New York to Dallas to LA to Boston, and there are patriots everywhere. So when I got to Nashville, Tennessee and started touring, I saw a lot of the country, and I saw it quickly. 300 days a year for the first 3 years, on the road consistently. I didn't see any really difference between Americans. The language is a little different. Their culture is a little different. But when it comes right down to it, as an American, we will fight for what is ours and fight for what's right. So USA just sort of came out of my heart, if you will. I mean, it's something I felt necessary for me to put down on a pen and paper. And my producer and I talked about it when I took it to Nashville and said, this is something I want to have on the album. He said, if you believe in it, then we'll do it. And that's the way it ended up there.
Wow. So you may or may not know this about me, Lee. I have recently started dabbling a little bit myself in music. It's always something I've loved forever. Never did I think I would get an opportunity to actually pursue it, and by any means. And you know what? Someone gave me an opportunity, and I said, I'm going to go for this, and I'm going to see what this is all about. And I've loved doing it. And I just started, the Democrats out there will love this, just started doing a little songwriting myself. So I know there are many different methods to songwriting. When you were writing God Bless the USA, was it something that came to you and in that moment you said, I need to write this down? How was the process for you? Or maybe it's the process you go through for every song.
I wrote a song for Kenny Rogers called A Love Song. And you either start with a thought, an idea, a picture in your head, something you saw on a billboard, a lyric from some other song, and that focuses your attention on what the chorus will be, or may I put it this way, the hook. The hook of the song is something you want people to remember and sing along with. A Love Song was very special. It went #1 by Kenny Rogers, and I started touring with Kenny. I knew him since I was a teenager. But there were other songs that I had written, similar phrases. God Bless the USA, when I came to the chorus of that song, many people think it's the title, I'm proud to be an American. And the reason I said that is because I had not heard people say that since my father served in the Navy in World War II. So that was important to me to say that. So I tied two phrases together in the chorus, which is odd. You don't usually do that. So that was a little bit different songwriting for me. But the melody came easy, and maybe easier than most, but I wrote it in one evening, so, you know.
All right, so then I got to hit you up for some songwriting tips then, Lee. That's okay. I'm going to write that down. Did you know President Trump, though, before he started using your song as an entrance for his rallies? Because that's sort of like, that's what people see now. They see Donald Trump walk out on stage, and you know what? He wants every single second of that song to play before he starts speaking, wherever he is, whatever is going on. I actually always notice that. And I think it's really special and unique because oftentimes you see people, and I even do it, if I go speak places and they have music playing, I'm like, all right, it's a little weird standing up on stage and you want to start speaking. He waits for every second of your song to play to the very end, and then he starts speaking. Did you know him beforehand, and how has all that been? Because that's it's sort of amazing.
Well, yes and no. My wife, Kim, and I have been married 31 years, and she is the director of 3 states in the South, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Georgia for Miss USA. So 30 years ago, when she took Miss USA, Donald Trump owned that franchise, owned the business. And so she knew Donald Trump before I did. And I wouldn't meet him personally until that association developed between her and President Trump and then myself. So no, I didn't know him prior, but my wife did.
Wow. And I mean, you really are kind of like the soundtrack to Donald Trump's political career in so many ways. And and I love that you say that. I love that because, there are people who go the opposite way and send him a cease and desist because they don't want Donald Trump using it. Why were you okay with him, not only okay with it, Lee, but proud that he uses your song to walk out?
Well, he's a patriot. I mean, I love a patriot. He's an American who believes America still is a great country. And when he waits until my song is completed, I've sang 3 times on stage with him, and yes, it's I can feel him over to my left. It's like, is he going to walk up? Nope, he just stands there and waits until I finish, which is not just a great tribute, but it's such a great courtesy for him to do that. And the reason he does that is because he knows the lyrics of the song are very important to every American, and that makes me proud.
Well, I love it. And I love that you haven't in any way shied away from it. You've embraced it. And I think that, this is a song I remember learning when I was in school. I remember learning your song and thinking about the words to it. I love that now I'll be able to teach it to my kids, and they see Grandpa walk out to it and they'll know. And it's funny because you said that no one was really saying at the time, the things that are written, that they're proud. And I feel like we're kind of in a space like that right now. And in many ways, you can credit Donald Trump with being the greatest cheerleader for this country and someone who is making people proud to be an American and encouraging people to do that. So I love that it's there in the song. And it's obviously great. Are you still songwriting these days, by the way?
Not so much. I don't know that my creative years are over, but the time is very pressing now. We are still touring heavily, and I have a very busy life with our 2 sons. Now Dalton is 28. He's married and got his dream job in Chicago. And Parker finishing his master's in the University of Miami, and we still live in Nashville, so we're traveling a lot in addition to my shows, and then in addition to Kim's work. So it's very little time to be, sit down and have a quiet time. And you'll discover that when you start writing, everything will try to take precedence over that. So when you get some lyrics you want me to go over, maybe I'll help you.
Oh, Okay, perfect. Don't tempt me with a good time, Lee, because I'll call you. You know that. You also, I mean, you talk about your children, which is so great, and I can see how proud you are of them, and rightly so. But you also are working with Folds of Honor. I would love to hear more about that, as well as your God Bless the USA Bibles. Tell me about everything else you have going on at this moment.
I like working with Tunnels to Towers. And of course, as you know, 2001 and the strike on America by the terrorists, I was there 3 different times. I got to meet Frank Siller and his family and understand that emotions that they went through and then how much they do for the country. Folds of Honor, of course, is a scholarship program. There's another company called Helping a Hero, which I was an ambassador for 12 years. I've now stepped down from that. But they build homes for wounded warriors, along with my friend Johnny Morrison Bass Pro, who has done so much for our wounded warriors.
You and I were at an event together for Helping a Hero. Yes. And it was amazing the amount of money they raised and the homes they built. Absolutely incredible. Sorry, go ahead.
And so when you come to my convictions as a conservative Christian, or let me put it the other way, a Christian conservative. My roots go deep with the Baptist Church. I sang in the Baptist Church when I was like 12 years old, and that's the greatest place that I got harmony training, by the way, singing with the choir. So moving ahead, when the people came from Europe on the Mayflower and they settled at Plymouth Rock, they brought their Bibles with them. They brought faith with them. They didn't come here to escape faith. They brought faith with them. And we have a family Bible on our coffee table that's a family tree of our 2 families blended together. And I got to thinking one day, what's wrong with putting faith with our documents of this country? So we have produced this beautiful leather-bound Bible that would basically unabashedly call it God Bless the USA Bible. It is the Holy Bible from King James Version. But in the back, we've included those documents, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Pledge of Allegiance, and the Declaration of Independence.
Wow.
And also my handwritten lyrics of God Bless USA, just because the publisher asked for that. But it's a beautiful Bible. It's available on leegreenwood.com or godblesstheusabible.com, and they're available now. For a while, the supply chain kind of cut us down, but now they're all available.
You know what? What a great idea that is, Lee. Honestly, because I think that they do go together. I mean, this country was founded on Judeo-Christian values. It is part and parcel to who we are as a country and who we are as a society overall. And in addition to that, I feel like to have a physical copy of these documents on which our country was founded is it's very unusual. Most people never have that at their fingertips. And to be able to take it out and maybe sit down with your children and say, here is the Declaration of Independence. Here is the United States Constitution. Here are these documents that are so precious to our society. You never really see that. I absolutely love that is something that you have done. And obviously it's been a hit, because if you've been sold out, that's a good problem to have sometimes, Lee. I love it. Tell us again where we get those. Okay,
so I just want to tell you really quick that, when the president takes his oath to the country, guess what he does? He puts his hand on the Bible. Mm-hmm. That means he believes in that so heavily, in the faith of this country, that he will not lie. He will tell the truth. The same thing in court. You're going to tell the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Guess what? They have their hand on a Bible. So faith is extremely important. And if you want this Bible with the Constitution that you can read, go to godblesstheusabible.com or leegreenwood.com and click on the tab for the Bible.
Great idea. Great stuff. You're a great American, Lee, and I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for not shying away from everything that kind of comes with the Trump orbit. Some people, I think, say, oh, I don't know if I can handle this. You have embraced it, and you've inspired so many people. Your song will go on for generations to inspire us to be proud to be Americans. And I just want to say, honestly, thank you. Thank you for writing it, but thank you for being a great patriot and a proud American yourself. We need more people like that. And I think your song continues to inspire people to do so. Lee Greenwood, thank you for spending a little time with us here at The Right View. And to everybody at home, as always, thank you for joining us. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And we'll see you back here next time for more of The Right View.
And I won't back down.
Nothing is worse than being on a phone call that drops. Nothing is worse than trying to text someone and you can't reach them because your phone is out of service range. And nothing is worse than supporting these major corporations and companies who don't support us. That is why I love Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless network. They use every cell tower out there available to all networks so that they have the greatest 4G and 5G coverage nationwide, and they support the causes that are important to us as conservatives. If you go today to patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump and use the promo code Trump, you will get free activation today. Again, that is patriotmobile.com/Lara Trump. The promo code is Trump for free activation so that you can get a great cell plan and feel good about doing it.